participatory, profitable, and above all, it's powerful. It moves, it motivates, it enables people to reflect and change. It makes an impact that can last for years. From east to west, from north to south, programs that entertain and educate are having a positive impact by changing attitudes and behavior, modifying negative health behavior, and reinforcing positive health behavior.
There are several organizations that in recent years have become increasingly interested in entertainment education. There are, of course, some organizations that have really driven this field, at least in terms of practice, and I'm wondering if you would like to highlight the role of some of those.
Two of them of great importance. One is Population Communication Services, PCS, which is headquartered in the School of Hygiene and Public Health at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland in the U.S. They have very skilled people at PCS have mounted a large number of projects, dozens of projects throughout the world using entertainment education in various formats, street theater, radio, television, and so on, mainly for the social or educational purposes of family planning, population size, and HIV/AIDS prevention.
Look, this can't continue anymore. Every time I want to make love to you, you come up with excuses.
They are not excuses, please. I am scared. You know I want you as much as you want me. Be patient. Try and understand.
Understand what?
I will get pregnant.
Then do something.
Why don't you do something?
I can't take this anymore. The same thing happens every time, every night.
Wait, so what's the problem?
She just won't.
Really?
Can you believe this? Because she's afraid of getting pregnant.
It's no problem. Go to family planning. Go, lead the way.
It's been proven time and again that when we are entertained, we listen and keep listening. It is this approach that the Johns Hopkins University Center for Communication Programs has applied to the promotion of family planning. The Center's Population Communication Services project is funded by the United States Agency for International Development. It had a major success with this Enter-Educate concept in Latin America with the Tatiana and Johnny project. These two sexy teen stars sing about not having sex.
Cruzamos el parque, caminando unidos, tomados de la mano. Cuando soñamos despiertos, esperando el día de ya no separarnos. Siempre me dices que espere, que no es el momento de darnos todo. Yo sé que tienes razón cuando dices que no. Es que mi corazón me lo está dictando. Cuando nos llegue el momento.
A major hit in 11 Latin American countries and #1 in Mexico and Peru, this success in promoting sexual responsibility did not go unnoticed elsewhere. As statistics were gathered, it became more and more clear that the teen response was beyond all expectations. Impressed by these results, the Population Center Foundation in the Philippines requested PCS to do a similar project for teens in their country. This project highlighted the following two songs.
There's so much
this time, the project activities were increased to include direct linkage to young adult centers.
Talagang it's nice to have someone special. Kaya lang, huwag tayong masyadong padadala sa feelings natin. Let's play it right. And if you want to talk it over, dial 858-991-294 and dial a friend.
And telephone hotlines. Project activities also included corporate sponsorship of various components. The surveys showed that the songs were well remembered and that the messages were interpreted correctly. Once again, it was clear that entertainment educates.
Wait, so what's the problem?
Just won't.
Really?
Can you believe this? Because he's afraid of getting pregnant.
It's no problem. Go to family planning. Go, lead the way. I made the same mistake. After 2 children, then I started to make your flower last longer.
This song is part of a major PCS campaign to promote family planning in Nigeria. Getting useful information about family planning choices can be entertaining and fun. And speaking of fun, here's an award-winning TV ad from Brazil.
Vasectomia, a operação do homem. Rápida e sem dor para evitar a gravidez. Vasectomia, ato de amor.
This ad dramatically increased attendance at clinics in Brazil. In Turkey, as well as in Latin America and the Philippines, the value of the free TV and radio time amounted to many times the actual cost of the program. And in Nigeria, the Enter-Educate approach is breaking new ground in reaching the audience.
Making love is beautiful, but don't forget, you can make children sometimes when you don't want to.
Yes, we shouldn't make children we cannot take care of. There are ways of making love without making children.
That's family kind of choices, we can make the choice. Choices.
The other worldwide organization, headquartered in New York, is PCI, Population Communications International. It has pioneered in spreading the Subito approach, or versions of it, to different countries in various projects, many of them also concerned with population family planning, family size, but also with female equality, with environmental issues, with HIV prevention, and adult education. So a variety of topics in a variety of countries, in a variety of genres of entertainment education, but many of the projects have come about through one of these two organizations. Now, this is a more complicated evolution than just having two parents. There are many parents. There are other influential entertainment education programs that have gone on years before either of these two organizations got involved. BBC's The Archers is
Elaine
one
Perkins'
example.
work in Jamaica.
Elaine Perkins. And Soul City, which began in South Africa, not intending to exactly mimic the Sabito approach, and it has its own unique approach to entertainment education.
Could you talk a little bit about the importance of the collaboration process in entertainment education? Unlike any other strategy, entertainment education calls for various stakeholders to come together, practitioners, researchers, and so on.
Perhaps it's all said best in Dr. Martine Bouwman's PhD dissertation at the University of Wageningen in the Netherlands. Her dissertation, the main title is The Turtle and the Peacock? The Peacock and the Turtle. And the peacock, of course, seems to represent symbolically the artistic community of producers, scriptwriters, directors, and so on. And without that, there would be no entertainment education. It wouldn't be as effective as it has been and is and promises to be if it were not for the turtles. And the turtles, I guess, are people like us who do scholarly studies of the effects of entertainment education, who have theories of human behavior change, who have research methods to enable us to measure these effects or changes in human behavior, and thus for the worldwide community of entertainment education to be a self-learning system where as each year goes by we learn more and more about how to make more and more effective entertainment education. This, of course, wouldn't work. These are very unlike sets of people. Peacocks and turtles don't talk much to each other, but the two communities involved in entertainment education have to talk to each other, have to work together, have to also work together across national boundaries, cultural boundaries, all kinds of language differences. So it is also sort of a triumph of human society worldwide that entertainment education has evolved in the successful way that it has and with a rich potential beyond.
And one of the most successful examples, in recent years at least, of collaboration is the Soul City case in South Africa. And I have just returned from a trip to South Africa a few weeks ago, and it is really very heartening to see how the production people and the researchers and the various media come together to create a sort of an integrated entertainment education-based campaign towards health promotion, which obviously multiplies the effects of the media message.
Shoo, muhle kanjani mntanakho? Ngiyabona. Uyafuna ukumbamba? Cha. Ubuye ngomhla ka-25. Yeah. Yizi. Uyafuna sikhulume? Cha sister yekela. Unesi. Ngiyazi sister. Unesi. HIV positive. Sakhuluma Lizzy. Sakhuluma kakhulu noDr. Matlenda uchazela ukuthi angeke uthelela abantu ngokubabamba. Ngiyazi sister. Kodwa ngisashaya ukuvalo. Ungathuki sister. Ungathuki qala ngokubamba mina.
Collaboration is key. There are different sets of people, each doing what they do best, but if they don't collaborate with each other, the final product won't be successful. And Soul City is an exemplar of that. In its day, going back several decades, Sesame Street in the US also is a famous example of collaboration between various sets of people, those who did formative evaluation and those who were able to creatively design this miraculous program for children, which is spread worldwide.
Entertainment, education, edutainment, it actually, by its very nature, actually points to what we're talking about, and that is partnerships. Is that how do we bring the entertainment and the education together? And the key is, in fact, partnerships.
Wonderful partnerships partnerships of theoreticians and practitioners, partnerships among audience members and producers, as you talk about community involvement in the process of defining the reality.
In a successful collaboration, both partners must possess sufficient exchangeable capital to make working together both worthwhile and profitable. Now, the French sociologist Bourdieu distinguishes between economic, cultural, and social capital. Economic capital are the financial resources or economic goods. Cultural capital are cultural competencies, knowledge or expertise, and social capital are social skills, memberships of networks, image, and goodwill.
The partnerships will expand and grow. And why is that? Because they're working.
The theory-based message design of entertainment education also perhaps lends itself to finding greater effects in audience members. We know the importance of Albert Bandura's social learning theory, social modeling theory, how audience members, for instance, learn from media role models vicariously without actually having to go through 30 years of having a large family and then realizing at the end of it all that...
Or learning how not to become infected with HIV and dying from AIDS without having to go through that agony, being able to learn from a role model like Mkwaju in the Tanzanian radio soap opera, 20 Na Wakati.
Radio broadcasting can entertain us and enlighten us wherever we live, even in the most remote areas. Radio drama gives us characters deeply involved in everyday problems, our problems.
धारावाहिक तिनका तिनका सुख की 52वीं कड़ी।
Perkins is an urban woman who lives in rural Jamaica, very attuned with life in Jamaica and celebratory of Jamaican and Caribbean heritage. And from 1961, she has been producing a number of radio serials. Her work could be categorized as falling in 4 or 5 broad categories. And one could talk about the historical series that she produced. And this was obviously driven by the need of the Jamaican society to develop some sense of identity in the post-independence period. So her work and others like her dealt with that. Some of the exemplars of that period of time would be Shadows in the Big House, Clans of Guava Bank, The Journey, telling the story of the Jamaican people. The next series, category of serials that Elaine did would be what we call the slice of life serials. And within those serials, one sees an important theoretical practice. One once pointed out that the radio serial, or the entertainment in general, provides for anticipatory socialization. You see within the narrative, or hear within the narrative, possibilities that you can face. Dulcimina, Her Life in Town, one of the longest running radio serials in Jamaica, ran from 1967 to 1980, told the story of rural to urban migration in Jamaica, about a young woman, Dulcimina, somewhat similar to Simplemente Maria, and she came into Jamaica, into Kingston, Jamaica, and went through the hard knocks of life and survived. Today in Jamaica, there's a little suitcase that's called the Dulcimina suitcase. After Dulcimina, Elaine did a number of them. Her third category of work is what we would call the development-oriented serials.
Raymond the Sprayman was one of those.
Raymond the Sprayman was a member of Hopeful Village, and Hopeful Village was about community development, and Raymond the Sprayman was responsible for controlling vector-borne diseases. Very famous character, and you have characters in Jamaica today that are referred to as Raymond the Sprayman. After Hopeful Village, which also ran for a very long time, 63 to 75, she went on to do things like Life in Mimosa Hotel, orienting Jamaican society to attitudes that would be supportive of the tourist industry. And her most studied work was Naisbury Street, family planning oriented soap opera, very rigorous evaluation done by the late Carl Stone that demonstrated the effectiveness of that particular serial intervention.
Naisbury Street, a story about life on a typical street somewhere in Jamaica where ordinary people live and extraordinary things happen.
In this episode of Jamaica's Naisbury Street, a nurse helps a woman understand that the pill does not make her lose interest in having sex.
All it do is change your hormones so that you don't produce an egg every month, all right? It don't stop you from having sex or enjoy sex. It just stop you from having children when you don't want them.
But my man still don't come back.
So you think I can make him come back?
Maybe if you explain to him, nurse.
Personally, I just think him just using that as an excuse, right? Because if a man wants another woman, well, that's just it. It's something you have to face, Minnie. Don't make him make you feel bad about yourself, especially as both of you agree that you don't want any more children right now.
You've just heard another episode of Naisbury Street, a story about women and the men who father their children and the price they pay for careless love.
One of the reasons why entertainment education is most effective is because it sort of takes an emotional route to persuasion. In essence, if you're talking about HIV/AIDS prevention and control, you're not talking about, oh, you know, there's so many people infected with HIV and so many are going to die if this is not done. But it's basically the story of Peter, who's in love with Mary, and Mary is infected with HIV, and they have a child who has AIDS, and it's the drama and the emotions that go along with the educational message.
And conflict. I think we're all interested in conflict. Unfortunately, that's one reason why violence is so attractive to us, let's say on television. Well, in this case, it isn't violence necessarily, but it is conflict. Conflict between the positive role models, that is, positive for the educational value, and the negative role models. They are in conflict, and it is that conflict that makes a good story and that makes it attractive entertainment.
I said no! Can't you hear? What's the matter with you?
Tandy, what's wrong?
I don't want to.
But Tandy, it's just a bit of, you know, hey, sometimes you just feel like it. It's the way it goes. It's life. It's natural. Come on, baby. It's okay.
Can't you see? I just don't want to have sex.
All right, all right. I'll be gentle. Hmm? I want you, Tandy.
Don't do that.
What's the matter with you? We want each other, don't we? No, come on, tell me, what's wrong?
I'm scared, okay? I am scared. I don't want to be hurt.
It doesn't hurt. Besides, we could always use a condom.
I'd rather wait. I know about love and being safe and everything. But not now, okay?
One of the other redeeming aspects of entertainment education as a mass communication strategy, or as a communication strategy in general, is that it has the potential, at least, of balancing social responsibility with commercial interests. And some people call it the sort of win-win strategy. And I was wondering if you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
You can make money, or at least recover your costs,